All right. Well, today we have a very interesting movie that I remember from my childhood and I recently rewatched. And it's the type of movie that is really, really kind of weird at times, but extremely heartwarming. And I can't wait to talk about it. The movie is Disney's Blank Check from 1994, and this is a movie that I watched as a kid, and it's about a kid who does this incredible thing that actually could happen. At first, I was like, there's no way some kid would," but when you add in the crime element involved and how all the circumstances lined up, it actually could happen, which is absolutely hilarious. Now, the story centers around a kid who comes across, a million illegal dollars just in these just random haphazard circumstances. A kid who is obsessed with money, and the hilarity ensues when just a kid is given like infinite money. It's actually kind of funny how he like comes up with the way of like how he can like fake it so that like he's this guy, Mr. Macintosh, and he can buy all these things. It just lets your childhood mind run free because you're like, well, what would I do with all this money? So I mean, it's like it's hilarious to think of, and it's deeply heartwarming to see. Now, you could never talk about this movie without mentioning an extremely weird situation in it. Now, there's this like FBI chick, and she's like a part of this task force bringing down this criminal guy who is a thief, and she's kind of involved in that list. But it doesn't help the fact that she kind of seems to get very, very, very close to the kid. And you could argue that maybe she was, doing that, to get to Preston, to learn more, just knowing that he's a kid. But at many, many scenes, and especially when he kisses him on the lips, mind you, it's just a very off-putting scene. And many people have pointed out in today's world how just deeply odd it is. But I mean, you could argue that she's just using, the young adolescent brain to unlock more information. But it does not help the fact that it is an entirely weird situation, and you cannot look past it. And I would say that it's probably a movie that should be blacklisted today for this sequence alone. Another completely hilarious situation, and probably one of my favorite characters from the entire movie, is the absolutely stereotypical criminal Tone Locke playing Juice. Now, Juice is an absolutely awesome character. You can't help but love him. He's the quintessential, doesn't give a care criminal, gangbanger from the hood type stereotype, and it's like you can't help but just laugh at the things that Juice gets himself into, and just how he's just like this ridiculous caricature of a criminal type character. So I mean, you gotta love Juice. Juice is one of my favorite characters. I love the whole sequence with him coming and accidentally swapping the money out or for the kid or the check and whatnot. So yeah, I mean there's hilarious sequences like that, and there's also other great characters like Miguel Ferrer is amazing as Quigley. And there's also like that banker Bitterman, and the awesome cab driver Henry. Just like there is heartwarming elements to this story, and it's really a play on capitalism itself, because what you're dealing with is like what every kid has to learn one day. It learns about money, and money is like such an important part of life. And when you become rich, you get everything you want, and that's what we learn growing up. We're learning about money as a very young age, that it just unlocks all these wants for you. So I mean, it's a good story on capitalism and money, and it's a good heartwarming story on just friendship and how there's this really ridiculous scene later in the movie where all his like he's throwing this big party, and all of these people are just there to see Macintosh, and they don't really care about the kid. And like you kind of have to know that that's like, yeah, I mean that's the reality. A lot of people, if you're super rich, are just there for the money. They don't really care about you. And it's a touching story with Henry, where Henry the cab driver is kind of like, he kind of shares the want for goodness in life. And he teaches Preston lessons like that. So I mean, it's a very heartwarming story. Blank Check's great. The really weird stuff with Shay is just off-putting at the best of times, but other than that, it's a great movie. I think as you get older, watching this movie, you realize that the kid is like really doing something not right, even if even with the criminal element of him be stealing money from criminals. I don't think the kid would have gotten away with that. I mean, for sure he would have been given some type of counseling, or some type of, he would not have just fully gotten off. For sure the kid would not have gotten away with this like level of theft. There's actually a particularly hilarious scene too when the kid's walking into when he first forges. I mean, he's forging the check. I mean, surely that should have come up somewhere in the investigation. Is that the kid quite literally used the computer to forge a check, even though it was from a criminal. He did something extremely illegal. And there's a hilarious scene early on when he takes and he's walking into the bank with the forged check. It's like, this is just the thought of a kid walking into a bank with a $1 million check, and trying to cash it. I mean, and even there's a police officer behind him saying, "Cashing the big one today, kid." Oh man, it's just golden. But like these are the things, like there's no way a little kid could walk into a big bank like that and cash $1 million check, even if there was a corrupt uh, guy. I'm pretty sure they would be like, yeah, you need like you need someone who's over the age of 18 to, like sign off on it. Like there's just no way. So you find yourself consistently kind of like being like to yourself, like, could this happen? Like, would this happen? Like, would they be able to get away with it? I don't know. It's just very far fetched. But if you play along with it, it's awesome. But if you play wrong with it, it's awesome. It's a cool ass movie, and I remember as a kid and just watching it. It's like, man, I would back in that day. I would have been like, I would have bought so many Pokemon cards and video games. But I mean, this kid's splurging on like pools and like massive VR setup type things. Like, I didn't even know they had some of this shit back in the day. But I mean, it's a good thing. It almost has also to some kid has this office, and he's like sitting in, and it has some like Scarface vibes to it. I almost think that they're going for some Scarfacing in it. So it has that going too. And like just the mere thought of a kid randomly coming across $1 million. And let's be honest, there are plenty of children out there who have access to $1 million at least. If you have mega rich parents, you're gonna get to live like this kid, but maybe not to the extreme. And it's like amazing to think of that in today's world. $1 million is not that much money. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, it would change most people's lives for forever, but they portray this kid almost like he just came across like 50 million or 100 million. In today's world, you would think the big house, all the stuff that he buys. It's hard to think that back in the day that $1 million could actually they envisioned it getting that much. And yeah, maybe you could get a little bit of that with $1 million today, but the truth of the matter is that there certainly isn't. $1 million certainly doesn't go a long way anymore. Despite the weirdest scenes imaginable in the movie with the relationship between Shay and the kid, Blank Check is actually a really heartwarming movie, and it's a good movie that's like a lesson in money that like I don't know, it kind of teaches you a good lesson about how, like, careful what you wish for. Money doesn't give you anything. That's that same old thing. But at the same time, it does kind of teach you that, hey, if you have money, you can do all the things you want in this life. Like, I mean, that's how it works. So in essence, it's like teaching a lesson, but at the same time, it's kind of quashing the lesson too, because that first wave of being rich really is like, that would be amazing. It's like anybody can agree with coming across a whole ton of money when you're used to being super poor is like life changing. Like it really is. Like that's our society, man. Is like, if you don't have money, you get nothing. If you have lots of money, you get everything. That is the weird thing. And yeah, I mean, certainly, it's definitely weird with that chick. But I mean, yeah, it's a great wholesome old movie, and I love Blank Check. I loved it back in the day as a kid, and I watched it like back in the early '90s, and I watch it today, and it's good. It's a really good movie, and I'd highly recommend it. A lot of people probably don't even know it exists.